This is JM from Electronic, and today, following with the A envelope video series, I'm going to be focused in the modulation inputs. The purpose of those four inputs is to modulate the time and progression values for each stage and channel. Additionally, it's possible to amplify or attenuate the input signals separately by parameter, stage, and channel to adjust the modulation amount. Let's see how it works. In this first example, I've prepared a continuous triggering of the envelope using the sawtooth output of a VCO, in order to show in a more easy way how modulation affects the different stages in real time. In this case, the complete envelope duration is about 45 milliseconds. Here we can see this sawtooth shape that is the one that will trigger our envelope. Let's plug this trigger into our input. That's it. Here, as we can see, we do have the complete envelope shape. The duration is about 45 milliseconds. We have in a scale of 5 milliseconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9. 5 times 9 is just the 45 milliseconds that we were talking about. So, what's next? Next is just to plug in our modulation input this LFO that we do have here. The yellow line is just a triangular LFO that just goes up and down in a very low frequency in order to be able to see what happens exactly to our attack parameter. Okay, so let's plug this here. This is the first thing to do, of course. And the second is to select the parameter that we want to affect. We can affect the time, or we can affect the progression. Here we will affect the time with the orange LED. We can see how the attack stage varies his time depending on this LFO. Or shape. And here we can move the shape to one side to the other, following the same rate that we are doing. But what happens if we go faster? It means if the period of our LFO is shorter than the time attack, then we will have things like this one. Up, 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 up. We'll start over modulating, and then we will start to see the triangle reflected, and also we can listen the difference. This is a triangle projected in our attack progression. As you can imagine, this will affect the sound, but it's very difficult to perceive this in that shorter period. So let's go just for a while. Okay, let's go. And now let's change the modulation. Good. What happens if this modulation, instead of coming from an LFO, comes directly from a VCO? In this case, for instance, let's plug this VCO or DSL. Okay. And let's put a higher frequency. Exactly. We can see here the sine shape. Let's push up our filter. Good. So one other thing that we can do is, for instance, to plug this in a spare channel. Since we do have 4 channels here, we can just go to the channel 4. We just turn the decay to 0, and then just by using the attack and the release more or less in the middle, we will get a triangle, a basic triangle. So let's put this in outer loop. This is starting to oscillate, perfect. Here we will go lower, good. And now we are modulating our first channel using our 4th channel. Of course, we can get higher frequencies if we go to shorter periods. And the good thing of this is that we can also shape this. And we can do things like this. This. And we are moving here with a very weird shape. We are projecting this shape in our attack phase. Good. Of course, we can do this in whatever the phase. If we are using our sustain phase here, here is the time that, since the frequency is very high, is not so visible right now. But what happens, not with the time, but the progression. In this case, since the sustain is just an horizontal straight line in the time, along the time, here is just about projecting directly this shape. And of course, since the sustain is the reference for the next stage, that is the release gets affected. It was like when we are swinging a rope. This is the effect that we are getting from going from the sustain phase till the release. Okay, and of course you can just play. I love doing this, playing with the progression, even though of course we can just add a trapezoid here. It will be so nice. That's it. Well, this is the modulation. Of course, you can use the 4 channels at the same time with 4 different sources, and if we project those modulations over longer sounds, we will feel the difference. Let's try to do this. Good. So let's put this in gate mode. Okay. Let's put this not normalization but automatic, so we'll get everything real time. And now, when we use the regular envelope shape, as you can see, okay, so what we're gonna do is just to modulate this sustain. Okay. Okay. Now we are doing these modulations with our 4 channel, the spare one that we had. Even we can change, of course, since we do have control over the shapes, the behavior of this vibrato. Do it this way with very thin spikes. Or you can do it in a pure triangle. Also, another cool thing to do is to use a regular VCO connected to the input source and track this VCO with your keyboard. And here in this case, for instance, we will maybe need to control a bit the amount of input. And change the tone here. So that set is pretty complete in terms of modulation capabilities. Of course, we can just stay here for hours and hours trying to invent more different ways of using these capabilities. Good. Well, that's all for today. I hope you have found this interesting, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.